experience with Tarantino before this movie?
The first Tarantino movie I ever saw was Reservoir Dogs. I loved it. It's my favorite. I think it's great that it's contained all to one room and it still holds my attention throughout. I love the concept of, all these people that, they can't know each other's names because they're in this crime ring to get this crime scheme together. I mean, you can't get more iconic than the ripping off the ears scene with clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right, here I am. Like, that's so fucking good.
It is so great. I mean, Reservoir Dogs, I think I would consider a perfect movie. Although Tarantino's made a couple of perfect movies, including this one, in my opinion. But we'll discuss. I don't know if you agree with that necessarily.
I don't know. I don't know if any of his films are perfect. That's okay. Well, what is a perfect film?
Perfect to a subjective criteria.
Any film can be that if you put it that way. But what in your eyes is a perfect film?
It depends on the genre, and it's about making the best version of something from that genre. I mean, like, if you look at something like Superbad, which we both love, that's a movie I would consider a perfect film of that respective genre.
Well said.
Yes.
I have to 100% agree with you on that one. That's fuck. Yeah, so I watched Reservoir Dogs. The next one I saw was Pulp Fiction. I didn't like it as much as I did Reservoir Dogs, which a lot of people think I'm crazy for. I had to watch it like a second time to really get the full scope of Pulp Fiction. I was like, all right, I get it, but I'm still... I don't get the whole, like, putting it on this pedestal sort of thing.
That's really interesting. I mean, for me, it was the reverse. I saw Pulp Fiction, then Reservoir Dogs. And for me, like Pulp Fiction is so full encompassing, like it's so crazy and wild that like Reservoir Dogs almost kind of felt like a downgrade because it was so much smaller scale in that sense. But Reservoir Dogs is also a much more character-focused story, So it's like you have to kind of pick your poison.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah. Oh, I watched The Hateful Eight. After that, like a few years later, I watched the 8-part the 4-part version of it on Netflix, which is the best way to watch it in my opinion. I went back and watched just the full length. I don't even know if you can call it the full, but you know what I'm talking about. Like the feature length version. I can't fucking talk today. When I was doing a summer program in Pittsburgh, I watched Kill Bill Part 1 and 2. Not back to back, but one night I watched, and then the next night I watched Volume 2. That one was fucking great in my opinion. I have very little bad to say about that. Like, there's a fucking anime sequence in that, just like crazy shit. I love the stylization of the violence, it's not realistic, but it's so consistent with that. It's so consistent with that over cartooniness of the blood that it draws you into that world, and you're like, all right, you come to expect it,
The ending fight scene is so, like, of the first part is so indulgently bloody.
Yeah, I was gonna ask which one you're talking. I mean, even down to the sound design where the girl has like the ball and chain, and she's like, and just hearing like the crunch against like the bodies and stuff, which again, like, those aren't realistic sounds either, but because you've built this whole world around like anti-realism, it works. And then that same summer I watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood in theaters.
With me?
No. I watched it in Pittsburgh first. I watched it a second time with you because I loved it so much.
Oh, so we were both showing Kenny at the same time.
Yes. Yeah, he hadn't seen it, so we were both like, yeah. The first time I watched it, I was really drawn into it. I was just absorbing the cinematography. I loved how it depicted Hollywood and everything like that. I love the character of Rick Dalton, and I can't believe I'm blanking on like the character's name, but to me the bodyguard is the main character. Cliff Booth, thank you. Cliff Booth is the main character of that story. The scene that takes the cake for me is when he throws Bruce Lee into the fucking car. Like that's, and then the whole mystery that you have with him about like did he or did he not kill his wife? You know. Which, I mean, we learn in a flashback sequence that, like, you know, he gets pissed off enough and then he shoots a fucking harpoon through
it. We never know for sure.
It's off screen, but I think it's heavily implicated. We don't need to go down that rabbit hole right now. Upon the second watch, I thought it was a little bit drawn out. I thought Quentin kind of broke his arm jerking himself off a little too much. You know, and I think a lot of people kind of share that opinion. Doesn't make it a bad movie, makes it a slow movie, which, you know, take of that what you will.
It's not one, I think, that's, like, meant for, like, rewatches. Because, like, once you see it the first time, it's like you get the magic of it. And then experience it again, you just won't be able to relive that. I think, funny enough, Jackie Brown, I would say, is, like, the opposite. I think... And he's even said this before, is that the movie gets better on rewatches. It gets better on like a second or third viewing once you know what kind of movie it is.
Jackie Brown?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'll have to watch it again in the future to really find that out. But I mean, I think you can do a 3-hour movie that doesn't feel that way. Like I've seen The Wolf of Wall Street more times than I can count.
Well, Scorsese's the master of fucking 3-hour movies.
And yeah, I mean, well, but you know, Tarantino does long movies too. You know,
with Scorsese, I mean, Scorsese and Tarantino are interesting comparisons there because Scorsese loves a snappy pace. He loves a fast-paced movie, and Tarantino is the complete opposite. He loves a drawn-out sequence. He loves drawing things out. I mean, there's like little things like Tarantino will. If he's showing someone walking into a room, then walking out of the room to collect an item, the way he'll shoot it is that he'll have the person slowly walk in, examine the room, take the bag, think for a moment, then leave. If Scorsese shot that same exact sequence, the guy would walk in, grab a bag, we'd cut to the next scene.
I think that's one of the things that kind of deter me from Tarantino's style is I think some of it is just simply too slow for my attention span. You know, not that it makes it like a bad movie or anything or a bad choice or anything, but like in my like subjective taste.